So here I am looking more at the Epstein stuff. This is Ghislaine Maxwell in her prison cell. Yeah, there she is reading some random book. Yeah, she's getting bored. Yeah, she's walking around. Shit. Okay, where's the other camera angle, man? You can't have her also commit suicide. Bullshit. Maybe they let her out? Yeah, maybe it was a guard who let her out. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like she's praying to God, I guess. Let's see. Did someone let her out temporarily? Okay, yeah, that's it. Some officer let her out. Okay, that's fine. She has a toilet. She has some food. Looking at a wall. Yeah, she has a thing over her. There she is, depressed in a blanket. You let her out again. There she is. But yeah, anyways, that's Maxwell. Let's look at the other stuff. So here is her pleading the fifth during, like, earlier yesterday.
Ms. Maxwell, were you a close friend and confidant of Jeffrey Epstein?
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question. And
Oh, bro, this is like, oh, do you have black hair? Respectfully, I'm not answering that question. Respectfully.
any related questions. My habeas petition is pending in the Southern District of New York. I therefore invoke my right to silence under the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Bro.
Ms. Maxwell, did you at any time play any role in Jeffrey Epstein's activities involving the recruitment, grooming, or trafficking of young women or girls?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Bro.
Let the record reflect that.
Look, man, we gotta get rid of the Fifth Amendment at some point, bro. Maybe for like one day.
Clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Surround yourselves with influential individuals to curry favor and shield yourselves from potential scrutiny.
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Let the record reflect that.
Oh, damn, she's spamming this shit, bro. Goddamn, Fifth Amendment every single time. Holy shit, bro.
Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Bruh.
Right against self-incrimination.
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Oh, no wonder this investigation getting no fucking where. This bitch keeps invoking her Fifth Amendment right. Okay, whatever. We're gonna check the CNN article.
The Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, has emerged from that hearing and informed all of us that Ghislaine Maxwell has decided to take the Fifth Amendment and refuse to answer any questions. Listen to what he's saying.
Ghislaine Maxwell, is the sky blue? I invoke the Fifth Amendment.
As expected, Ghislaine Maxwell took the Fifth and refused to answer any questions. This obviously is very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed, as well as questions about potential co-conspirators. We sincerely want to get to the truth of the American people and justice for the survivors. That's what this investigation's about.
We need to bring back waterboarding, man. Man, what was it? I forgot which one, but I remember during George Bush's term, I think it was Guantanamo Bay. I think they also had a few like different places around the world. They even had one in Iraq. But specifically because they were torturing people, Obama implemented a executive order to, like, limit the amount of torture that can be done. Man, I wish we had that back. Oh well.
I want to mention the next steps. We can confirm we have 5 more depositions in the book scheduled for the Epstein investigation. On February 18th, Lex Wexner, who is a financial client of Epstein and I believe the former CEO of Victoria's Secret. February 26th, we have former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. February 27th, former President Bill Clinton. March 11th, Richard Kahn, Epstein's accountant. And March 19th, Darren Endike, Epstein's lawyer. So we will continue to...
Oh, they even got the lawyer, man? Like, what the fuck did he do? It's like, oh, hey, your job is to defend Epstein. Okay. Oh, we're investigating you now for defending Epstein. Oh well, whatever. It doesn't matter. I got the other names, though. But as I said before, the chances of Hillary and Bill being prosecuted on anything less than 1%, man. I won't believe it. I won't believe it until I fucking see it, man.
To move forward and try to get answers for the American people.
Do you think that Britain's royal family has questions to answer to your committee?
Well, we would love to hear, from anyone. Obviously, I can't subpoena in foreign countries, or I would have done that in the Biden investigation. But do you have anything to add, Andy?
I'll just add one thing that the attorney for Ms. Maxwell said that she has no indication and would say that neither Presidents Trump or Clinton are culpable for any wrongdoing, and that's one thing they said in his opening statement to us today.
Bro, like every single time it keeps happening. As I said, if they are prosecuted for anything, guilty, as far as I've seen, people keep saying, "Oh, neither of them are involved in it." Because I know a lot of people want to really spam this towards, "Oh, I hate Trump, therefore he is guilty." "Oh, I hate Bill Clinton, therefore he is guilty." And the way this should be going is we should follow the evidence, and then after all the evidence is put together, if one of them is guilty and or not guilty, we should judge them based upon that. Yeah.
Was Ghislaine Maxwell put under pressure to stay silent?
What's that?
Was Ghislaine Maxwell put under pressure to stay silent today?
Well, I have no idea.
Of course she was.
How would I have no idea. I mean, she was given an opportunity. We would have brought her in months ago, but she's indicated she was going to plead the fifth, and unfortunately, she had an opportunity today to answer questions that every American has, questions that would be very important in this investigation, and she chose to invoke her Fifth Amendment rights.
Is there different what her lawyer said about President Trump and Clinton, and do you think that there's anything more to do with Ghislaine Maxwell now that she pled the fifth?
Correct me if I'm wrong, just to be clear, what her attorney said, Maxwell didn't say, her attorney said that she would answer questions if she were granted clemency by the president,
Trump,
and that she went on to say about Clinton and
basically it means that she won't get in trouble for answering questions or have it like added to her sentence and shit like that.
Yeah, but he went on to expand that. The other thing is he pointed out a number of times that she has a habeas corpus petition pending for a new trial and release, and that's why she is not going to answer questions.
I know that those conversations are ongoing. They would like them to be public. Is your understanding still that we're looking at those same February dates and they're going to be private?
Yeah, that's what they agreed to, and they will be public, just like this will be public hopefully very soon. We've released every transcript and every video and audio of every deposition we've done since I've been chairman of the committee.
Mr. Chairman, does the committee have any plans to subpoena Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, given the revelations?
We're going to try to get these 5 nailed down. We've got a lot of very important people we're trying to bring in to answer questions. We don't want to do anything to jeopardize the 5 that we have on the book. So we'll see what happens here, and we'll move forward. We're interested in.
Yo, shut the fuck up, retards. Let him speak, bro.
To anyone that might have any information that would help us get justice for the survivors. Yes.
Thank you. On the disagreement with the Clintons about closed-door videotape testimony versus public hearing, are you concerned that this will be enough to restart contempt proceedings, or do you think you'll come to a resolution?
I mean, they said they agreed to a standard deposition. That's what a standard deposition is. Every time I've come out here for a press gaggle with you all, we've had a standard deposition. So this is how depositions work, and it will be made public. So they want a public deposition. This is what they're going to get.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask you about Ilhan Omar for a moment? Mr. Chairman, your investigation.
Bro, deport her. That's what I have to say. Deport Ilhan Omar.
Chad.
Your investigation about Ilhan Omar. Why are you targeting her when there is a Ilhan Omar? Your committee investigation with Ilhan Omar, when there is a process in the House and people have questions about their conduct, this would go through the ethics committee. Why is this under
and I've spoken, I'm glad you asked that question. I've spoken with the ethics committee. The ethics committee has jurisdiction over members of Congress. The 2 businesses in question are owned by Ms. Omar's husband.
Oh, yeah.
The ethics committee does not have jurisdiction over a spouse, only a member. So
we investigated ourselves and we found no incriminating evidence. Basically, what the ethics committee is. But thankfully, as her husband has his name attached to it, hopefully we can find some information on that.
That's why we just asked. We would have questions. I don't think anyone would.
It would pertain to her overall finances, because that is listed on her financial disclosure report. Even though that's
we've run this by the ethics committee, and we think this is the appropriate route. So, and we'll do one more question. Yes.
Yes, just going back to the Clinton deposition. Sorry for space. I understand that you're going to release the transcripts, you'll release the video.
Of course.
Why is there reticence to just have it be public, since the Clintons, look, they are not your typical people being deposed?
When you say public, what do you mean? I mean, it's going to be the video, and we'll release it. The public will see every second of the deposition. I think they're trying to muddy the. What's that?
But not at the time that it happened. So
what? A few seconds later? I mean, I think the Clintons are trying to muddy the waters and create a false narrative, like depositions behind closed doors. That deposition was behind closed doors, but you had at least 10 members of Congress in there, and you'll have the video, I hope, very soon. Yes. Go ahead. All right.
Ghislaine Maxwell, we know from the Epstein files, didn't tell the truth. She got moved to an open prison. Now she's asking for clemency to speak at all. Was it a mistake to move her to that prison? Should she be moved back?
I don't know the rationale for moving her from one prison to the other, but look, initially she had asked that the Oversight Committee grant immunity, and when we met with the survivors of Epstein, it was pretty clear, according to the survivors, and you know, we had 20-some members in that meeting, that Maxwell was a
leading lady,
and she committed a lot of crimes. And it was the intent, in my opinion, when we left that meeting in a bipartisan manner, that we would not grant immunity. Now, what she said today, she's asked for clemency from the president. So I personally,
don't give it
for
to
the
her.
reasons you just stated, don't think she should be granted any type of immunity or clemency. But we'll obviously, you know, as more documents are read and understood, then we'll go from there. But I'll close with this. I think it's great that the Department of Justice is letting members of Congress come in and look at all the unredacted versions of the documents.
I agree.
Attorney General Bondi.
And a little later, I'll be looking at Thomas Messi. He said a few things, and, you know, it's interesting.
Doing what she was supposed to do via our subpoena first on the House Oversight Committee, as well as the Epstein Transparency Act. So I think we're finally going to get some answers, and hopefully at the end of the day we can do what our objective is in this hearing: provide justice for the survivors.
Adolf. Bro.
All right, so there you have the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, explaining what's going on right now. Ghislaine Maxwell pleading the fifth, refusing to answer questions before his committee.
That's right.
To be honest, I'll say kind of smart, because anything you say can and will be used against you. So I will say she definitely knows the fucking legal system, or at least the best way to game it to her advantage.
And he also, there was also mention of what the attorney for Ghislaine Maxwell said at the very beginning, saying that neither Presidents Trump or Clinton are culpable for any wrongdoing. So that's from Ghislaine's attorney, but Ghislaine herself pleading the fifth. And he was asked about the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell was moved by this administration to a minimum security prison. And of course, she's asking for clemency from President Trump to speak to the committee. And you heard there the Chairman Comer say, I don't understand the rationale for moving her, but of course he didn't weigh in on whether that was the right move or not. So that is
my take on it is, if they are keeping better track of her from any accidents happen, I would consider it good. But like I don't know too much if women's prisons do this exact same thing. But I know in men's prisons, if you don't put them in a certain area, they will actually just drown and kill you. And even though I would consider that justice via criminals, you know, it's their job to technically not allow that shit to happen.
what we just heard there was important, and we're also expecting more testimony, depositions. 5 witnesses or people who will be going before the committee, including the Clintons, in the coming weeks. So
Hillary Clinton first, then Bill.
Hopefully they don't just skip out on court again, but I'm not putting it above them since they already did it last time.
Yep, that's right.
They'll both be coming before the House Oversight Committee, and the chairman making this point. He said, we have many questions for these individuals who have been subpoenaed to come forward, and our goal is justice for the survivors. That was his point. He kept making that point.
And the survivors.
Yep. Oops. Anyways, we are going here, and this is like a little bit extra on the Epstein stuff. So Ghislaine Maxwell invoked her constitutional right to silence this morning before Rep. James Comer and the House Oversight Committee. Here is the statement I gave the committee explaining why. Members of the committee, on my device, Ghislaine Maxwell will respectfully invoke her Fifth Amendment right to silence and decline your answer to questions today, even though she would very much like to answer your questions. She must remain silent because Ms. Maxwell has habeas petition currently pending that demonstrates that her conviction rests on a fundamentally unfair trial. For example, jurors lied during voir dire to secure seats in the jury, and government promised immunity, then broke that promise. Newly disclosed documents now demonstrate these facts conclusively. If the committee and the American public truly want to hear the unfiltered truth about what happened, there is a straightforward path. Ms. Maxwell was prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. Only she can provide the complete account. She may not like what they hear, but the truth matters. For example, both President Trump and President Clinton are innocent of any wrongdoing. Ms. Maxwell alone can explain why, and the public is entitled to that explanation. If she can say that, that's good. That's good on them. But she gotta spell some fucking names. At least someone else's name. Like I did this with this guy. There it goes. There's also this from Nick Sorter. Newly revealed documents show that Donald Trump was one of the first people to call the police on Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell in 2006, calling Maxwell a evil operative. Knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil, and to focus on her. Trump told blank that he was around Epstein once when the teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. Trump was one of the very first people to call the people to found out what they were investigating Epstein. No one could explain how Epstein made his money. They knew he worked for Bear Stearns. Blank was told that Epstein was kind of a technical guy that would make it happen, but you don't want to know how. None of the victims that spoke if they said that they had any sexual contact with men other than Epstein while in Epstein's orbit. Blank had one time went out screaming. Prince Andrew was a fixture in the Palm Beach and said he had no protection while there. Blank has done interviews in the past with Blank. People, victims, thought that was paid off by Epstein, which is why Blank, when he did those interviews, he felt he needed to defend the and a interior designer told them that rooms in the Virgin Islands had been decorated for the teenage girls. Blank contacted Virgin Island Police Department, but they were not helpful. In the end, when Epstein had turned himself into a plea to the misdemeanor, Blank was not notified and found out from a newspaper. This is a well-known retired CEO. The DOJ should unredact this. Why did they redact it? Co-conspirator, blank, no date of birth, intelligence, FLS financial. Yeah, former girlfriend, blank, blank, blank. Okay. And then this. A sultan seems to have sent this DOJ to make this public from blank. I am in China. I will be in the US the second week of my sent from BlackBerry wireless device. To blank. Where are you? Are you okay? I love the torture video. So yeah, the guy who sent him the torture video, I guess Thomas wants his identity revealed. As I said, if he is guilty, he should be put in jail and investigated. If he just, if he's just a guy who sent him a torture video, just for like, just for them to watch, is another thing, I guess. And we have this, which is, I just spent 2 hours at the DOJ viewing the mostly unredacted Epstein files. For the 18 redacted names on this document are men born before 1970. DOJ has to explain why they are redacted unless they're just randoms in the lineup. But here we have Jeffrey Maxwell, and he said 18 are unredacted men born before 1970. Yeah, born before 1970. So yeah, it would have to be. Yeah. So realistically, they're all over the age of. They're pretty much all over the age of 60 then. So very, very unlikely it's anybody. Yeah, very unlikely it would be anybody like. Let me see. Very, very unlikely it would be anybody like Vance, Mom Dami, or any of the really young, super young people. It would have to be. It would have to be like some old business owner, some old people. So yeah, we're gonna see that. And here is a little part from his lawyer in general. This is Epstein's lawyer, and we're gonna get what he says. And this is Alan Dershowitz, just so you know. But he's had about, I think it was like 20 or 30 different interviews based off Epstein from the past, pretty much since, I guess, 2006 to now. He's had multiple different interviews speaking multiple different times on what he thinks of it, what he's allowed to say, and all that stuff. And from what I've seen, his story is incredibly consistent. But you do have to remember that he is a lawyer, so it kind of is his fucking job to have a consistent story through and through. And he was Epstein's lawyer for, I think, during the Florida trial in specific. But let's hear what he has to say.
In America since the 1950s. I want you to look at this paper that has been reproduced and sent by the Justice Department. It's called Prominent Names. And it's a list of prominent people who have been accused. Every single name of every accuser has been blacked out. So, for example, let's turn to me. It says blank, 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 blacked out.
And for this, he has on multiple occasions actually spoke about his in specific, whoever the accuser was. And he said that it's false and whatever. As I said, his story has been incredibly consistent. So whether or not you want to believe him, because he still is Epstein's lawyer, and he still has lawyer-client privileges and all that stuff. So he can't tell you the full story, but he also is, he's in a career that he's very well known to be consistent with what he says, because he's He's a super well-known lawyer. An extremely well-known lawyer. And an extremely good one, too.
She gave him a massage on Epstein's plane, parenthesis, not a minor. So let's understand that. This is an adult, a woman who was on Epstein's plane, she says. I was never on an Epstein plane with a young woman.
Right.
I never got a massage. This is total defamation, a total lie, but I can't disprove it because they won't give me her name. That's McCarthyism. On the issue of his spying okay, well, let me continue.
Let's get
on
to
the
that.
issue of his for the Mossad, that comes from what is called an undercover confidential source. I happen to know who the source is. The source is somebody who the FBI.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure he 100% knows who it is. Because, he was the lawyer, so he's allowed to see all that stuff. The thing is, he just can't say it because it's confidential.
Investigated, found to be totally incredible, lacked all credibility. This is the worst form of McCarthyism. Why are we tolerating this? Why are we allowing accusations without the names of the accusers? For example, in my case, it's an adult woman. We don't know whether she's a victim. We don't know whether she's a perpetrator. We don't know whether she's a co-conspirator. Why do you hide her name and produce the name of the people who are accused? That's guilt by accusation. That's guilt by association. It's McCarthyism. It's wrong. It's unconstitutional. It has to stop. And the media is playing a role in this. Politicians are playing a role in this. Epstein will never
Let
be
me jump in
remembered
for a
for who
second.
he is. He will be remembered for inciting McCarthyism that infects America now more than it ever has since the 1950s. It has to stop.
Yeah, so that's his take on it. But yeah, there's obviously still more stuff that's going to happen over this, over the next few days and weeks. But this is basically all we have now, which is there's more stuff, a lot more information on the files. But even then, there's a lot of questions that people have, and it makes sense because a lot of things are redacted, and a lot of things just don't make perfect sense. But yeah, that's all.